I'm Warkenda. I'm the face behind Dance Colorfully. I'm also the artistic director for the Black Swan Ballet Company. I haven't posted in several weeks because my heart has broken. And I've decided to let you in just a little bit as to why my heart has broken. As you know, recent events have turned this nation and the entire world in an uproar. As a woman who's a giver, it has also turned my world into chaos as well. I grew up in the South with Southern parents. However, I didn't grow up completely in the Black world. I also didn't grow up completely in the white world. I grew up in this strange place that was in between, knowing that I wasn't Black enough to be Black and not white enough to be white, and not anything enough to belong in either place. So stubbornly, I made a place for myself and for the next people in the world. COVID-19 struck hard. I cried over how many people were getting sick and how many people were dying because of this horrible disease. And the man who occupies the White House continued to say that it was a hoax that the Democrats put on to discredit him or make sure he lost the election. The hubris of that hit me, but I stayed silent because my personal political opinions don't matter. They don't, not to the people I teach, not to the people I interact with on a daily basis. The schools that I taught in, the studio that I taught in, every place that I taught in closed down one by one, which meant the children that I taught no longer had access to my face and my joy on a daily basis, or weekly basis for some of them. And that hurt my heart so badly. But as always, just like when I was a kid, I made a place. I made a place. I started taping little bitty tiny snippets of lessons and putting them up for anybody who wanted to enjoy them and play and sing and dance and just be a part of the joy that I feel when I teach class. They could join in, even if it's just a little bit. And hopefully, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, this one thing, one little bitty thing, could be what I bring to this horrible, horrible situation. COVID-19, you are no match for Warkenda, because I know how to still reach the world, and I know how to give the world joy. Black Swan Ballet Company was supposed to have a master class as well as an intensive this summer. Unfortunately, because of COVID-19 and the budget cuts in the Pennsylvania Council on the Arts, our budget was cut as well, which means the funding that we had gotten is now gone. It's gone. We can't hold on to it for next year. We can't, say, hey, could you put a pin in that? And just, we couldn't. They needed to use it for their upkeep and operations. So anyone who had not already used their funding, they were not going to get their funding. And that did include the Black Swan Ballet Company. So even if we wanted to do virtual intensives, we couldn't do it. I could not bring dancers of color to other dancers of color so they could see themselves in ballet. Something that is so lacking and so missing in the ballet world. I cried about this. I mourned this for weeks. But picked myself up, dusted myself off, and said, you know what? Like a phoenix, we will rise from the ashes. It doesn't matter. We will find funding another way, and if it takes us 365 more days, we'll have it, and we will have those master classes, and we will have more intensives. If I have to fund it out of my pocket, like I've been doing for the past several years, so be it. So be it, I will. And then another black woman was killed in her house while a search warrant was being performed. A no-knock search warrant. They just came in blasting. Pretty common. A black man, while jogging, was cornered and murdered. And the only reason they arrested the two men who were responsible was because it was filmed. He looked suspicious, jogging while black. I've been accused of that too. I've been stalked. Then a man in the middle of Central Park filmed what those of us who are black men and women know and see all too often. A woman who was using her privilege to intimidate, but that man decided not to be intimidated. He kept filming and kept insisting that she put the dog on a leash. People were more outraged at the fact that she accidentally choked her own dog than the fact that she knew what she was doing when she said, there is a black man who is attacking me in the bramble. She knew. And she knew what that privilege would do for her. It would make the police come faster. She's a white woman, black man, dangerous. He's a black man. He would be in handcuffs, down on the floor, maybe shot dead that quickly. Because she said so. And then a police officer decided, yet again, to murder one of our brothers. As that gentleman said, "Sir, I can't breathe. Sir, I can't breathe," over and over again. No other police officer pushed him off and said, "That's enough." No, of course not. Police officers were cordoning off him from a couple of people that tried to help in the crowd. Because after all, if they actually jumped in, they would have gotten killed as well. His last words were, "Mama, Mama, I have children. I have 3 beautiful, beautiful black Irish children." Their first words were, "Mama, His last words were asking for his mama. I teach beautiful round faces looking up at me, dancing and singing with such joy. So 7 days a week most of the time, with joy in my heart. And if any of them ever had that happen to them, it would be just the same as if my own child had it happen. It would kill me inside. People who know me know that once you have been in one of Miss Warkenda's classes, I'm Mama Warkenda to you from the day you've been in my class to the day you die. And I have some amazing people who call me Mama Warkenda out in the world right now. Some are teaching the next generation, of which I am so proud. Some are baristas, some are artists, some are dancers, some are accountants, some are choreographers, they are everything. But a lot of them are Black. And this world, this country, was not set up to value my life or the lives of my children or the lives of my Black students, my babies. So because of that, I stopped posting because my heart broke. I didn't know how I could help. I didn't know what I could do. Mama Warkenda couldn't swoop in and kiss them on the top of the head this time and rock them and tell them everything was going to be all right, because that's normally what I do. I am a caregiver. That's my purpose. And this time, I couldn't care enough to make it go away for them. Speaking with certain people called me a racist because they said that I was ashamed of the fact that I married a white Irishman and that my children have white in them as well. No, I am not ashamed. But I am looking at my children every single day and making sure they understand who they are, where they're from, and the histories of all they've been through, Irish and Black. I look at the children in my classrooms and in my studios, and I make sure that they can hold their head up high. It doesn't matter if they're Black, Asian, Latinx, fully abled, have a difference that causes their body to twist or turn in a different way. It does not matter if they're neurotypical or not. I teach them to see the divinity in themselves. And for the past little while, my heart could not continue to teach. My heart couldn't teach. My heart couldn't dance. My body refused to dance. I couldn't pray, and I could not meditate. I was raw, I was angry, I was raging. And I was looking around at every adult that I have ever heard little microaggressions that they really swear they don't mean, but I've heard them and they stung. I grew up in the South. And say what you will about the South, I still consider it home. I didn't grow up completely in the Black world. I went to white schools. I went to white churches. I was a ballet student. So I did not grow up in one world. So code switching is something that happens to me just naturally because I like surviving. But because I was brought up in more than one world, I saw racism. I saw white privilege, and I saw that bias. And I always told myself that I needed to constantly see both sides of the story, and I needed to be the bridge between the two, and I needed to always try to explain to the other what the other meant. I've gotten pulled over in my car while being black. I've had guns pulled on me. My children have been asked if I was their kidnapper. My family have gone into stores, and I'm the only one who gets their bag taken and searched. I've had those tiny little microaggressions. Oh, you speak so well. For a black person is the underlying thing. Oh my goodness, you have good hair. Why? Because it's clean? I don't see color. Well, I really wish you would, and acknowledge mine and celebrate it with me. But I've always stayed quiet and tried to explain kindly, because that's what I've always done. For my entire life, I was told that I was not black enough for the black world, and I'm definitely not part of the white world. And so I was always the bridge between everybody. I married an amazing man. He was born and bred in Ireland. And so I also have 3 amazing children, twin daughters and a boy. And their first words when they were born was mama. Not right after they came out, of course, but their first words were mama. You can be sure. And all I kept thinking when he kept saying, "Sir, I can't breathe," and then he said, "Mama," was what would I do if that were my child's last words crying out for me? And that caused the rage to get even worse. I've listened my entire life to people I'm friends with tell me that, you know, that Confederate flag hanging up there, it's just part of our heritage. Or people I date, you know, I hope that person, I hope she's really just short term because, you know, she's the wrong color for our family. Or places I dance say, "You're the wrong color for classical ballet." And I've always pushed through. Always. I've been a phoenix. I've started rising from the moment I could walk. I teach. That's what I do. I teach children, amazing children, and not just children whose bodies may be perfect for ballet. I teach children. And those that I've taught even had one class with me. I'm Mama Warkenda. That's who I am. And they know. Once they've had me, they're mine. They're mine. Now, some of my students are off dancing somewhere. Some of my students are off teaching. Some of them are accountants and all of these different things. And some of them are still babes in arms. But they're my children. And when I saw George Floyd call out for his mama, it felt like he was calling out for me too. Mama. I'm Mama Warkenda. And my heart broke because I could not do anything at all. And I could not dance away this pain. I could not pray away this pain. And I couldn't do anything away this pain. I talked to one person who informed me that I need to stop being so biased for black people, and I must be racist because I must be ashamed of my white Irish husband and the white Irishness in my children. That was the straw that I was done talking with adults. I love my husband, and I've taught my children since the moment they came out of me that they should be proud of every single part of them. The fry bread that the Cherokees make, the potatoes that the Irish dug for, and definitely those collard greens and rice. All of it, because they are wonderfully and beautifully made, and because they are mine. Every child I teach gets that same lesson. Love yourself, love others, look at everyone else, and see the beauty in them. I had 3 amazing white friends, allies, definitely, also teachers, who said, let's get on a Zoom call and I want you to just talk. And I talked and I cried and I ranted and I raved and I was angry, and they continue to check in on me. The biggest help that they've ever said during all of this is, we don't understand, but we're with you. We don't understand. They don't. Just like I can't understand what it's like to be a white cisgen male. But I'll walk with them, and they'll walk with me. After talking with them, I still was not able to dance. I couldn't do what I was put on earth to do. And I had a class to teach on Monday of littles. And all I could think was, how am I supposed to teach these amazing little faces with joy? And how can I dance with them when I can't dance myself right now? And I feel no joy myself. And I feel just so much rage. Because I don't teach out of rage. I teach from love. And I decided I would teach a book about a dancer called Sylvia Townsend, the Bookmobile ballerina. And she's a black ballerina. She now has a studio on the other coast. And when she started to go from studio to find a class, basically she was told she was the wrong color. Now let me explain what my students did. When she went to the first studio, they said, we're too full. When she went to the second studio, they said, it's too late in the year. And by the third studio, they let it slip. You're the wrong color for ballet. My students from 3 to 9 got angry. How dare someone tell her that she's the wrong color for ballet? How dare they say she can't dance because she doesn't look like everybody else in the class? She needs to go to your class, Miss Warkenda. That's where she needs to go. Because in our class, we have some people who are brown and some people who are Chinese, and we have some people who only have one arm. We have everybody dancing, and we love each other. That was a revelation for me. What I have been teaching every child that I've ever taught is, everybody's a dancer. It does not matter if you are neurotypical or not. If you have all of your arms and legs or none of them. If you are brown or yellow or white or any combination of the above. If you're a boy, a girl, it doesn't matter. I have taught every child I have ever come in contact with to see the beautiful God in the person in front of them as well as the one inside themselves. And to have that echoed back by my kids told me something very important. That what I was teaching was breaking through. But I still couldn't dance. So on Tuesday night, I went to the protest downtown New York. And it was a wonderful, beautiful protest, to tell the truth. And the best thing about it is the fact that it was organized by some of my students. I stayed up all night sewing black masks and white masks, and across them I wrote enough and I'm ready to go because I am a nurturer. That is what I do. If I saw one child, that's my child, or really anybody, and they did not have a mask, here's a mask, put it on. And that's what I did. And I ran up to and congratulated my students. And we stood there and we chanted and we sang, and the mayor spoke and the police commissioner spoke, and they stood with us. There was a little girl, red curly hair, adorable, screaming at the top of her lungs before anyone else started, "I can't breathe!" I gave her a thumbs up. She gave me back a thumbs up and kept going. There was a group of men, white men, who bought a huge stack of pizza and literally started handing out the cheese pizzas and going, "Take one, pass it on, take one, pass it on." They were feeding the crowd. More nurturers. Someone brought water so that if anybody got too hot, it's right there. Someone even brought colas, well, brown sodas, and they took the wrappers off of all the brown sodas and put them back in the ice. And when I asked, "Why are the wrappers gone?" they said, "Well, so that they all look alike." Oh my goodness. It was the most amazing protest. The only thing that had me concerned about the protest wasn't anything that the protesters did. It wasn't anything that anyone did other than a news person who decided that she would push her way between black teenagers and black women so that she and her camera person could get a better angle. Never said excuse me, never said sorry, just shoved. White privilege, huh? Anyway, that was Tuesday. By Wednesday, I had a class with a wonderful light who is a great friend and a wonderful teacher. And he had a dance class that was a dance meditation class. And all I kept thinking all day, I was scared. How am I going to do this? I can't dance, I can't meditate, I can't pray, I don't know what to do. All I do is cry and scream and cry and scream. What am I going to do? And he started the class, and it was about wringing all of the stuff we have stuck inside us out. And I started dancing. And I felt heavy at the beginning, so heavy. And I danced, and I danced, and I danced for easily 2 hours. And danced everything out, and I was meditating in that dance and sending my heart light as big as I possibly could to everyone. And when I woke up the next morning, it came to me what I need to do. Because, congratulations, you've posted on Facebook that Black Lives Matter. Now what are you gonna do? Congratulations, Twitter saw your blackout on Tuesday, but what is your action? Congratulations, you posted a sign in your lawn that says, "Love knows no bounds," but love is a verb. So what are you going to do now? I realized what my action was and what it's always been. Talking and trying to explain to adults why Black Lives Matter, why Black Swan Ballet Company is important, why little brown children matter just as much as anyone else, what white privilege is, talking to adults about this, I'm tired. I've done it my entire life, and I do not wish to explain to another person why, but I don't see color is offensive to me. However, what I do is I teach the next generation. And after what I saw on Monday night with the students that I'm teaching, saying nobody should be able to tell anybody that they can't dance, and what I saw on Tuesday with my older students organizing something that was peaceful and beautiful at the same time, as well as triumphant and loud, that told me that I'm doing something right for the next generation. I have students who are everything, but the one thing they have in common, Mama Warkenda. It killed me to know that all of this was happening and I couldn't pick up my students in my arms and say, Mama Warkenda's got you, it's okay, and kiss them on the head and make it all better. But I think I know how to make the world a better place. Teaching. That's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep teaching every child that I see that they should and need to do better than my generation did in the past. To my little ones, you've got this. I know it. Take a deep breath. I've got this. You're beautiful. You're strong. And I know you've got this. To my adults, make sure what you're teaching Mama Warkenda's kids, make sure what you're teaching is wholesome and good. Make sure you teach them to see the divinity in themselves as well as everyone around them. Make sure you tell them that Black Lives Matter. Make sure you tell them that I think that they are wonderful and that they are loved.